there were a couple guys on the roofs as well. And there was one guy on the roof of that building. And I mean, team guys, like our guys, right up on the roof. And then there were other guys down on the adjacent buildings. Well, this guy literally comes in there, and as they go, the train's moving up, the fucking door opens and this guy pokes his head out with a fucking RPG, straight up rocket launcher. And he shoots it right at the first guy in the train. And you see the whole train goes whoop, and just does one of those. And this rocket goes flying up, misses everybody, and then just does a little caterpillar up into the sky. However, apparently in terrorist school, they didn't teach this motherfucker about overpressure. I learned about overpressure. Apparently they didn't teach him because he had the back of the rocket launcher inside the door. So all of a sudden the overpressure explodes and it collapses the whole mud hut down on him and all of his terrorist buddies. The problem being one of our guys was on the roof. So he goes through the roof down literally like into the beehive, falls into the building, into the room where there were like 8 fucking terrorists waiting in there. And the 2 dudes that were on the sides, that were on the adjacent building, literally just ran, because he fell probably like 8 feet or something, like just through, like, like falls, it wasn't cool,
Right. Wasn't pretty.
Right. The 2 dudes run to the side of their buildings and just literally aim down and go, "Kirk, freeze!" And he just laid there and they go, and they shot everybody around him. And he just laid there on the ground and just let his 2 buddies kill everybody.
Trust his buddy do it.
He just trusted his buddies to do it. But I'm like, dude, the amount of stress, like just going, like he literally hits the ground and there's 8 dudes that are trying to kill you. And you hear your 2 buddies go, "Kirk, freeze!" And he just, and they just took them all out.
Jesus, that sequence of events.
Yeah.
RPG, duck, out of the way. The chain of event stacked up because you got looking at the back of a guy's helmet and he moves. So you move instinctively. It goes whistling past. BBDA was not clear. Back blast danger area was not.
So, I don't think they ever learned about that.
It would have had their heads would have been ringing, blown out. Old mate drops in from the top.
And if I remember correctly, he fell in and he jammed up his leg. I don't know. I don't remember if he broke it or something, but I mean, he still fell like through with 60 pounds of kit on and everything, you know what I mean? I mean, it wasn't, he got hurt, and that sort of a thing. But I mean, literally all those dudes get up and everything else. And his 2 buddies just go, "Whoop, Kirk, freeze!" And they just whip them all up.
Right, that's the luck bubble at work. It's that ability to,
at least pick everybody off around them.
Right. People talk about luck. I get drawn into this all the time. The company, the luck bubble. Like, what is luck really? And I see luck as cause and effect over and over and over again. And nowhere do I see it more than in sports or high level elite achievement status, like in operators and teams working together, because they have this ability. The fortune favors the brave. They downregulate their nervous system, but to the shock and awe of the people receiving it, they're literally in shock and awe. They are frozen. They are dorsal. They are not operating well. And in that moment, you take the power back. And this is a lesson for everybody that's listening, no matter what your field of endeavor. You want to be good at it. Learn to regulate your nervous system.
There's nothing in the world. There's no bad thing that will ever happen that panicking will make better.
Right.
Yeah. Chris Isaac.
Legend has it, Chris Isaac, playing for the troops in Iraq. And he was over there the night after his performance. He's staying in country. He said, "I want to stay with the lads and see what it's like." And he's in the green zone. And all of a sudden there's a mortar attack. And he comes fucking running out. He's going, and he looks up and there's fucking explosions, in the distance, and shit's going down and helos are taking off. People are screaming. There's 2 young Marines there having a cigarette inside the green zone. And he looks up and looks at them and they're pretty cool. Like, "Hey," he's like, "Should I be worried?" And one of them says, "If you want to." And that was it. And he's like, "Okay, it's a choice. You'll be worried. You want to freak out? Knock yourself out. That's a choice. But it's not going to help things. It really ain't going to help."
I was telling somebody the other day, and then we'll get on to the breathing exercise, but I was talking to one of my clients the other day, and I was trying to tell them this, literally what you're talking about, the regulation of the nervous system. And I'm sure you've read Man's Search for Meaning by Dr. Viktor Frankl.
Mhm.
And remember, he has anybody out here who's listening who hasn't done it, highly recommend that book. It's unbelievable. And who aren't familiar, Dr. Viktor Frankl was a Jewish psychologist that was incarcerated in Dachau during World War II, during the Nazi rule. And so he got a firsthand experience of applying the psychological sciences to watching people in arguably the worst situation you could. I mean, like, there are literally Jews incarcerated in Dachau. It doesn't get a whole lot fucking worse than that, right? And how people stayed sane and how they survived. And anybody who reads the book, he ended up having this famous theory that came out, and he said, in between stimulus and response, something that happens to you, to response, is a sacred moment. And that is the moment to choose your interpretation and your reaction to whatever just happened. That's the nervous system regulation. It's the ability to sit down and go, and in that is your own true power. And it's the last true human freedom, because no one can ever take it away from you. You always have to give it up every single time. And even if you've always given it up, the next moment is a new moment to reclaim it, because you have to give it up every single time. And that is that nervous system regulation. And he talks all about sitting there saying, most of the people that died because of their reactions. The way they started to interpret and to react to the Nazis or to incarceration is ultimately what made them die. Others made a different choice, the way they regulated the stress, the way they responded to the Nazis or to being beaten or whatever the case was, changed their entire fate. And then everybody, of course, wants to argue that, yeah, but that's so hard to do. I'm like, that's why you have to train it. That's why you have to train it on a daily moment, so that it's a muscle, so that the more stressful things happen to you, you are ready. But you're going to be able to jump into it.
Right.
When there's a car crash and you're trying to do it, if you've never done it when your boss snaps at you.
Right. This epidemic of trauma that we have, especially in kids, being sheltered and wrapped in cotton wool away from the opportunity to build emotional resilience, to downregulate their nervous system. It's literally setting them up for failure.
100%.
We have a generation that's being set up to be emotional basket cases who cannot regulate their own system.